truly mattered, and we hadn't had a clue. We fell in to play the game, nothing would ever be the same. There were times when there was laughter, there were times when there was joy, but they took it all away for the pleasure in our pain. Welcome to our whole new world. Shine a light on everything. Please don't be scared for what we know. Welcome to our whole new world. All the lie you tried to hide away from the scars we made. This is your chance to understand. We did not design this plan that was built for you. There's nothing you can do. This is my warning, this is your sign that you can't go running high. We will fight for you. You know it to be true. Welcome to our whole new world. Shine a light on everything. Please don't be scared
And welcome everyone back to Nerd TV for another global sim racing truck series events live from the simulated Rockingham Speedway. As we're going to go 200 laps around this 1 mile, oddly D-shaped configurative short track that's being revived next year in the real stuff and the Xfinity and truck. So, a little precursor of what to expect coming in 2025. Weather on the track, 94 degrees on the surface, 76 degrees Fahrenheit in the skies, 89% humidity. It says cloudy, but I see some blue skies. So we're going to label that partly cloudy. And then winds don't really matter too much at short tracks other than it's high banked and it's a mile. And so 13 mile an hour might or might not affect these trucks depending on which angle it comes from as this race progresses. My name is Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Swifty, and to my right-hand side, co-partner on the buttons and the broadcast side, Mr. Dustin Logston, aka Ballistic. What's up for this fine Sunday evening?
Welcome to The Rock. My best Sean Connery. I had to get it in there. Best Sean Connery impression from the movie The Rock. But nonetheless, we are at Rockingham Speedway. Has been dubbed The Rock for the longest time. This track has got a lot of history, got a lot of nostalgia here. To the driver's dismay a little bit, and for whatever reason my camera's like super high. To the driver's dismay a little bit though, this surface, Jeremy, is super rough. It has been causing some drivers some issues in corners. These trucks are breaking loose. This is not a smooth surface at all, folks. I cannot stress that enough. Probably one of the rougher surfaces, especially for a mile or less, oddly D-shaped short track, if you want to call that. It's going to be a challenge. It's definitely a driver's track, and I know we talk about that, Jeremy, but a driver's track, it's tracks that drivers love running at, and typically the ones they love running at are the ones they run well at. And if a driver doesn't like the track, they typically don't run very well here. So this is definitely one of those tracks tonight.
Yeah, 100% there. And your camera should never do drugs before the broadcast, sir. Should not be high while getting at it here for 200 laps of Rockingham. Update on the points this week. The lovely admins have finally decided to give us a little bit of material to fill you in throughout the entire event and the weeks going forward to end this year. We have Rockingham tonight, Bristol next week, Kansas, and Talladega. So 4 races before the next round. 14 in now. 5 will be backed out and eliminated after Talladega. So it'll go from 14 to 9. Then they drop 5 more again after the next 4 races, which will bring to the final 4 at Phoenix to close the thing out November 10th. So I want to give the rundown on the points while we're talking about it. Chad McGinley, Clayton White, Joshua Slade, Stephen Knight, Bradley Minor, John Howard, Bobby Mantle, Stephen Hayes, Ron Harrington, and JJ McCoy both tied. Abram Ghost and Danny White, they're both tied. EJ Luna and Justin LeBlanc. If you picked out your name, you're in. And so those guys are trying to fight to be into the top 9. The odd numbers this time around, Dustin. Top 9 to be in here, but we still got a month's worth of racing, so lots going on between now and Talladega, but there's your rundown for the points.
Yeah, a lot going on. And talking about, now that you covered points, let's talk about something that is always on the block, and that is pit strategy tonight. So 80 laps. You'll get about 80 laps on a tank of fuel here, and that is pretty much running it bone dry. You might be able to stretch it to 82, depending on how easy you are on the throttle, but 80 laps. Tires, it's going to be a give or take on that one there. Tires are going to be screaming at you well before that 80 lap mark, especially with this abrasive surface and with as bumpy as it is. These tires are going to be chattering quite a bit on there, so definitely going to see if drivers can get straightened out and get going, some longer stretched out green flag runs, but they're going to be longer than what we're used to seeing, Jeremy. Like I said, it's 80 lap is that window, so I would say anywhere between 75 and 80.
And you're going to want tires before you want fuel. At least that's what I'm kind of feeling right now. Just how this surface can destroy those virtual Goodyears. But checker flag is out in this practice session. That only means one thing. we're going to take our cameras off your screen and focus on the practice winner, which Dustin, big surprise here, 65 Chad McGinley P1 in the practice. 2 drivers to hit the 23.3 bracket. That's Chad McGinley and Joshua Slade. Again, no surprise there. But this track is all about tire conservation. Don't get loose and don't push up into that turn 2 exit wall. Those come at you quick. And if you kind of look at the wall, we've seen it happen way back in the day, but that wall is not 90 degrees perpendicular to the track. So if you hit it hard enough, you could ramp up the wall, kind of. But needless to say, it comes up at you quick on corner exit if you're running tight.
Absolutely, it does. And like you said, you know, it's trying to make sure that you do not break those tires loose. You see Chad McGinley taking it high through the corners right there, trying to really get that thing up to speed. He's going to keep it right up against that wall. And Jeremy, he's not leaving much room there. I mean, this guy, he is throwing it all out there, coming off turn 4 right now. He's got this thing up to speed. He's ready to go.
I saw a lot of drivers running that outside lane, and I knew there was something up there, but the way that he is driving it up there right now, as his qualifying time, tells me there is way more grip to be found up in that 4th groove, but you're flirting with it kind of like a Darlington style, where by risk versus reward, the 65 drives down early into turn number 4, comes across the line 23.569, and we're going to salute ourselves, and that's what I'm talking about.
Michael McDowelled it, man. Hardcore.
Yeah. That wall's not 90 degrees perpendicular, and you can launch your vehicle off these walls. So, classic example of what not to do tonight.
You were just talking about that, too. Literally just talking about that. And Chad's like, here, Jeremy, let me help you out. I'll sit here and lead by example. So, yeah, but 23.5 right now. McGinley, top of the charts, is Grim Reaper Motorsport teammate Stephen Knight was second, now third, but his Reaper Motorsport teammate McCoy, 23.59 P2, Knight 23.65 and P3, and then Brad Miner 23.71, and right now as it sits, Clayton White 23.8. That rounds out your top 5 as we sit right now.
2.5 minutes left in this 5-minute qualifying session. We're going to kind of ride on board the rest of the drivers that have not posted time, which is 6 at the moment here. So on the front stretch, heading off into turn number 1, number 54, Brody Marinko and his Chevrolet Silverado. Early time there, 24.0. Not the hot lap that he needs, but he probably took lap 1 to build the heat in the tires. He's going to ride it up the track. Not as high as McGinley, but up in that 3rd lane. Keeps a little bit higher on corner exit here at the line. It's going to hit a 23.676 P4. Not too shabby for the 54.
No, not shabby at all. Good to see a 54 crew running good and strong. And Jeremy, that right there pretty much concludes all the drivers that are currently out on the track as it sits right now. We are going to we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to say thanks to some of our league sponsors. When we come back for the starting grid for the Rock, Paper, Scissors 200.
And back full screen here. 20 seconds left in qualifying. Still nobody else on the track. So everyone that we covered, that's it. 11 posted time out of the 16. The last 5 will be sorted by their I ratings from highest to lowest to complete the grid here for the Rock, Paper, Scissors 200. fun name for the Rock, of course. Paper and scissors. I don't know where they're getting that from. We had some fun banter before of what that was. I'm just gonna leave it there. But here we go. The session has switched. We are on race session. We're gonna take a couple seconds to let the trucks file in here, and then we'll go down the starting order for the 200 laps at the Rock. Looking forward to this one. It's gonna be a great time. We're gonna load up the drone off of Chad McGinley's truck. And we're going to go the old school with the rundown on the track, but new school because it's a drone. And I'm here for it. Outside lane, where are you? Waiting for you. But here we go. Chad McGinley going to be P1 to his outside somewhere. JJ McCoy, the 22, his teammate. Row number 2, you're going to find 3rd place Stephen Knight. 4th place Brody Marinko. Row 3 will be the 46 of Bradley Minor. To his outside in 6th place Joshua Slade. Row 4 is going to be Clayton White in 7th. Abram Ghosted in 8th. Row number 5, Bobby Mantle in 9th. Danny White in 10th. Row number 6 will be Justin LeBlanc in 11th. EJ Luna in 12th. Row 7 will be John Howard in 13th. Mark Sherwood in 14th. And the last and final row, row 8, Ronald Holmes in 15th. Ron Harrington P16. It's a small field, Dustin. Small short track. Well, I shouldn't say small short track. It's a smaller track. Smaller field, most of them filled with your playoff contenders, of course. And there's your look back onward, down the front straightaway, heading off to turn number 1. Will or will we not see chaos in turn 1, Dustin?
Yeah, it's tough, and we had talked about a smaller field. I had made mention this is a driver's track, so a lot of drivers, if they're not in playoff contention and they're not in contention for a decent finish or a possible win, they don't show up for tracks that are not on their favorites list, and this is a track that's definitely not on a lot of people's favorites list. So it's not surprising that leagues have smaller turnouts, especially during league environments here at Rockingham. But it's unfortunate because this track it's a very competitive track. It poses a lot of good racing. And it poses that good racing if you have more trucks on the track doing it. You get a lot more of that side-by-side racing and everything else. So it's I wish more drivers would show up, and I wish this track would show up on more drivers' favorites list, to show up and compete.
I really wish as well. One thing to note, the number 13, Stephen Hayes, not in the server tonight. That's your only playoff driver, not in contention for the victory for the Rock, Paper, Scissors 200. Everybody else on the playoff board is here. Turn 4, pace truck will dip any moment. 65 McGinley's going to lead this thing off. Actually, nope. There it goes. Okay. Pace truck fooled me. That's cool. And there we are. Green flag is out. This thing is underway. There's no Geico restart zone. This is the old configuration. And here we go. We see the 22. The grip's on the outside. He's going to jump right to the 3rd and 4th groove. He's going to let the 65 take the spot momentarily. Off corner exit. Curious to see if he goes to the inside of his teammate here. Nope. He's going to back it down. Single file top 2. Brody Marinko in the 54 going to try to do a little bit of outside momentum on the 79 of Stephen Knight. Gets it there. Will be P3 at the line. Joshua Slade going to try to follow suit in 5th. Oh, almost contact to the 54.
Yeah, that's twice the 54 has ran up on the 22 with such a good run, has had to back out of it to prevent getting into the back of JJ McCoy. Just nowhere for the 54 to go. He needs to try to catch him going into corner entry there to take that high side because that's what he's been running. But he will clear the 79 of Steve Knight. Now Steve Knight side by side with the 12 of Slade. And Slade now has to do the check up there, but he's able to roll off and go high. Now he's going to battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, Slade on average much faster than Brody in practice and qualifying. So, in combination anyways, there you go. You see him quickly on the outside. Remember, outside lane, faster speeds equals more tire wear. This track is abrasive. You don't want to do it all night long unless you have that truck rotating really, really well without kicking loose. Looking back here at the 64, Danny White still rocking the blue squares underneath or over top of the numbers rather. So I'm going to call you out again what the paint is that. And you got Clayton White. Speaking of paints, new paint job for him. Heidi Sensi. I think that's his wife's company, rocking the pearl white and chrome purple, digging that paint scheme. And I love it, Dustin. That's pretty cool. It's hard to read the sponsor. We talked about that on the side, the text anyways, but since we know what it is, it looks like a pretty good truck.
It is. I love that pearl white there, and the purple does a really good job, and it's a nice touch of metallic on there too. So definitely a good paint job right now. But Jeremy, these 4 drivers right here, well, I mean, really, it's been the 3. It's been Marinko, Knight, and now Brad Miner. Miner with a little bit of wall kiss there. He's going to slow up, but now Marinko going to lurch forward, try to challenge J.J. McCoy. Joshua Slade, while we were looking at some of the other battling, his past McCoy worked his way up into P2. As you see, they passed E.J. Luna. Looks like E.J. Luna elected to start from the pits in tonight's race. And right now, he is right in the middle of the hornet's nest.
Yeah, kind of off the pace there, too. Not sure what happened to him. He was on the track a couple laps. Oh, actually, he got involved in a wreck, Dustin. Lap 5 on the back straightaway. Self-spin right across, or almost crossed over John Howard as he hit the wall on the inside. As you're going to go to the No TV replay to take a look. Turn 2 can be very tricky on the loose or tight end. 24 is going to be loose. Overcorrects it to stay away from John Howard, which is great. But then he collected the infield wall. Doesn't look like it's beat up too bad, but it costed him over a lap.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised that the iRacing stewards did not bring out a caution there when all of his tires were above the yellow and those 2 trucks went by. That was surprising, but lucked out. We stay green, continue going, and Jeremy, look at this battle right here. 4 trucks right here, nose to tail under a blanket, all bidding for the same piece of real estate.
Yeah, the top 2 right now looking like the early start for Ross Chastain, Shane Van Gisbergen at Watkins Glen on the Real Life Cup Series side. Everybody else, though, nose to tail into turn 1 and 2 again. Bobby Mantle really pushing the issue on entrance, but Marinko able to get the drive on corner exit. Gets to the back bumper of J.J. McCoy. Quick shout out to the YouTube chat. It's Holmesy saying, "Let's go, Grim Reaper." And Michelle Rittenberry saying, "Hey, guys. Thank you for joining us again on a nice Sunday evening here for the Global Sim Racing Series. And hopefully these guys put on a hell of a show for you guys. Currently tuning in 12 live, 13 I guess actually live on the YouTube side."
Yeah, I love you guys joining in, and these guys are already putting on a really good show. As it sits, you see right now Bobby Mantle does pass the 54 Brody Marinko. Marinko does an awesome crossover move there on the inside, almost drifts up into him though, Jeremy, going into that corner. And you got to be careful. This track will do that from time to time, and you have to have a heads up on it. Otherwise, you are going to end up taking out that driver that's up on that high side, and that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, that was a great angle there from the drone shot to see the pass there. And now it's Bobby Mantle's turn to take a look at J.J. McCoy for 3rd place. Top 2 have separated themselves out over a second. And actually, J.J. McCoy's 2.7 seconds back. So Chad McGinley, Joshua Slade on a tear early on here. But still, there's a bunch of people 3rd on back that are getting racy side by side. It looks like the 46 Bradley Miner on the inside, trying to make some passes happen back there. And it's Clayton White in the top. Danny White's going to go to the 2nd groove with him. Justin LeBlanc also running the 2nd groove. It's kind of weird to see the 2nd groove be the preferred spot here in Rockingham.
It really is, but then again, it doesn't surprise me, Jeremy, with that the newer build for these trucks. It's more of a driver's truck now. You got to work the throttle a little bit more. You have a little bit more play in that. So taking these things outside of what we are used to and then being fast has now seemed like it's a commonplace now. We've seen these trucks run in different lanes that, before weren't fast or were not the preferred, and we've seen drivers pull off some just ridiculous moves and runs that we haven't seen before. So it's kind of nice. It's a nice change of pace. It keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true there. And you still see now 5
Ooh,
trucks.
LeBlanc hard in the wall.
Yeah, he's going to slow him down. Danny White goes to the inside. Abram Ghostin trying to go to the inside. I don't think he's going to make that stick. 2, 3, and 4. LeBlanc not too hurt. A little loose there off corner exit as well. Able to keep the 25 directly to his inside. He's going to drive it in deep into 1. Look at that little diamond effect there. Drives it in about the second groove, slides it to the third. 25 gets loose, by the way. But then he drives it back down to turn 2, gets it straight away launch that he needed to pass Abram, and now he's back on the attack to the 64.
Yeah, very reminiscent of a line you would run at Bristol, Jeremy. I mean, how many laps have we pulled at Thunder Valley there that, we go in low, drift it up high, back down low again, really diamond that corner, and it gets you an amazing run off, and really allows you to turn and rotate through that corner better than, what most people would think.
Yeah, it does well. Just manage the tires. I'd say that's the name of the game for these guys. All single file right now, 19 laps. Going to be completed this time out of the 200. Lap time is only low to mid 23 seconds, so these things will pick up kind of quick. Being a 1 mile track. And high banked, you see Chad McGailey, leader by 1.658 seconds over Joshua Slade, still P2. Third on back, a whopping 3.5. So they continue to drop like a rock, if you will, Dustin. And,
there it was.
there it is. But third on back, this is like a super speedway race, man. These guys are not letting each other go. Very similar setups, it looks like, across the board from third to 10th.
Yeah, and this is an open setup series, so these drivers are running different setups. Depending on what team you're on, usually team drivers tend to run the similar setups. Minor tweaks to adjust to their handling and driving style, but you couldn't tell that, Jeremy, from third place on back. Well, at least from third to seventh ish, you wouldn't be able to tell it because they're all pretty well nose to tail. That they'd be running different setups. But, look at the different line. You see Clayton White's running that diamond effect line. And look at the run he gets on Steve Knight there. And he's going to take a pass to the inside here down the backstretch.
Taking a look here. Knight's going to drive it all the way up to the wall. Hug the third groove on corner exit. And just like that, by basically 5 truck lengths, able to clear the 14. Gets to turn number 1. Clayton White closes that back in. Focusing back in third and fourth place teammates from Grim Reaper. Got JJ McCoy in third, Bobby Mantle in fourth. Both in the playoff contention here. And then we're going to like to run the inside continuously now as we're getting closer and closer to the midway point of this run. Dustin, you caught about 80 laps or so roughly on this fuel run, which would make it a 2
on
fuel stop strategy. Yeah, on fuel for sure. But the tires, that's where I'm curious.
Yeah, and I am too, and I don't have any data on tire wear or anything else. That was just strictly on fuel alone. That's how many laps you can get on a tank of fuel here. But with the way that some of these drivers are running, Jeremy, we take a look at JJ McCoy. These 4 drivers right here, McCoy, Mantle, Marinko, and Knight. If you look at them going through the corner, they are down there by that yellow line. That is the least abrasive and best tire conservation line you can take, is what they're doing. These drivers, we've seen Clayton White, we've seen Justin LeBlanc, those drivers that are doing that diamond effect. You see Clayton White up top right now. Those are the ones that it's going to increase tire wear a little bit as they run those lines. But we got a battle right there, and it looks like Clayton White's actually going to complete that pass on Steve Knight and elects still to run that third to fourth groove there, Jeremy.
Yeah, still seeing the multiple grooves out here. 26 laps into the books. Single file. Dustin, I think this is going to be a great time. We have not done it in a couple weeks, and I don't know why I don't do it every single week, but turn up the tudes. For most of the trucks going on Rockingham. They're still closed in. I think you're going to get some really good sounds out of these things, so give it a couple minutes, turn it up. That was Turn Up the Tunes, where you listen to the trucks go around this 1 mile facility. I can't wait for iRacing to scan this thing next year when it's been renovated up to date and ready for Xfinity and truck racing in 2025. Not much has changed on the scoring pylon except for Joshua Slade moving in a little bit closer. Ronald Holmes in a 33. Well, I guess I kind of lied there because he's on the apron and still going slow.
I think he might have come into pit road.
Yeah, it's definitely unscheduled. 36 is way too early, so I want to know what's going on with the 33 there, but outside of that, not much positions have changed.
No, like I said, it's we're going to run down the top 10 here. Now they kind of spaced out a little bit. Chad McGinley, right where he started this race, first place, in an entirely different state, like 2 states away right now. He's just out logging laps, doing good. Joshua Slade right now up 4 positions from his initial starting position. So he's been trekking forward. Did a lot of moves on that high side to get that high line run, but has now migrated down to the low side for tire conservation. He's looking to try to track down that 65. Third place, Bobby Mantle, up 6 positions from where he started. Fought in that pack of 5 or 6 trucks there, Jeremy, for about 15 laps now. But now that that tire wear and tire temp have actually started setting in a little bit, he's able to actually lock himself into that 3rd place. Got enough breathing room to where he's not super worried right now over his teammate J.J. McCoy in 4th. Down 2 positions from where he started 2nd, now residing in P4. Solid truck, Jeremy, but it looks like it could possibly be a short run truck right now, so definitely some setup adjustments in line during our next pit stop here for the 22 crew to try to get that thing more adjusted for the mid to long run, as it looks like that's where this race is heading right now, Jeremy. 5th place, Stephen Knight, down 2 spots from his starting spot. Kind of the same situation as J.J. McCoy, his teammate, which doesn't, it's not surprising. It's team drivers. They share setups. They share setup notes, but was definitely strong in the early stages, but has fallen off into that mid to late run. So definitely some adjustments in the future for the 79 crew. Brody Marinko also down 2 spots. We got 2-2-2 here from where he started, running in 6th place. A lot of hard battling there, Jeremy, side by side. He was battling early with McCoy, with Knight, with Mantle. So probably did not do fair justice to his tires. But right now, just trying to ride out till he can get to pit road as well. Clayton White started 7th, running 7th. So has been doing really good. One of the few drivers to elect to take that top side diamond approach that we talked about, Jeremy. Mid-entry, drift up high to wall, then low exit out. As you see, Marinko is now drifted up there. Again, we still have to wait for telemetry data to see how it goes, but from what you and I talked about, that could be the complete opposite of tire conservation. It may be faster, but tire conservation is the key here at the Rock. Brad Miner in the 46, running in 8th right now, down 3 spots from where he started. Has had a nice quiet night, Jeremy, here at the Rock. Not a bad thing, especially when you come to a mile or smaller track. To not have, anything said good or bad sometimes is a good thing. Still solidly in the top 10 for Brad Miner. Still plenty of laps to try to get something going. Again, one of the drivers definitely looking to hit pit road to make some minor adjustments there to try to help that mid to long run. Danny White in that 64, your What the Paint selection for the 2nd week in a row, is up 1 spot, started 10th, currently running 9th. Again, fairly clean race, but another driver looking to try to get some adjustments going. But right now, not feeling any pressure in front, not feeling any pressure behind. Like most drivers, just trying to log some laps and doing it clean. And Abram Ghostin in the 25, down 2 spots. He qualified 8th, is currently running 10th. Had some handling issues a little early on, but was able to get that underway, trying to make his way up right now. But ladies and gentlemen, as you can see with these drivers, this is not a track that is very easily tamed, so to speak. And no, I'm not trying to take away from Darlington, but this one is a tougher one indeed. But you see right now, Abram Ghostin setting sights on the 64 of Danny White, trying to track him in as he has been for the last few laps. And that is your Nerd TV Top 10 recap.
10th place is a half a track behind the race leader, just to kind of give you an idea. 12 and a half back. The lap times right now are in the 24-second bracket to 26-second bracket, depending on where you've saved and not. So it's a big difference. And there's your iRacing iFlag track map. You see right now 65 on the front stretch. If you kick it over to 10th place, Abram Ghosted. There he is. Turn 3 to turn 1. So half a track is your difference. And then some. See, P1 is already off of turn 2, and he's just got off turn 4. So that's currently the setup underneath the 64 Danny White. There we go. Nice, clean, easy pass from Abram to make it happen. And he's one of the drivers that are outside the cut line. He's back by only 3 points coming into the night. So I know we got a month worth of racing, including a Talladega race, but you want to set yourself up where you can. And so maybe if you can get some setups tweaked from these guys, about 10th, 9th, 8th place, maybe they can work on that long run and maybe catch a caution to set them up for a decent finish tonight.
Yeah, and that's what it takes. I mean, you got enough laps in these races, Jeremy, that you can tweak on this setup. So if you are way off at the start, you know, and sometimes drivers can hit it the first time, sometimes they're off. Sometimes they prep it for a short run, expecting maybe a quick caution, within the first 30 laps. Whoa, is Brody Marinko loose out of 2, but he keeps her going. But that never happens, so you have a short run setup that now you're in a mid to long run. You pretty much just got to grit through it until you can get to pit road to make those adjustments. And that's why, it's a gambling thing, Jeremy. You never know coming in here if you're going to have long runs, short runs, mid runs. You kind of got to roll with, past data. Drivers look at past races. Man, Marinko really loose off there. His right rear screaming at him, Jeremy.
And he's probably got another 20 to 30 laps of fuel in that thing, so maybe he might be the first one to break the first stint cycle and head his way down the pit road to split this thing. We just completed lap 50, so we're 1 quarter in, 3 quarters to go in this 200 lap event for the rock, paper, scissors 200. 54, not as loose that time, but still, you saw the rear end kick out just a little bit. So,
Jeremy,
continuing to fight a loose truck and keeping the 79 at bay.
Yeah, and Jeremy, mind you, the 54 Brody Marinko was one of the drivers that was electing to run that high side quite often. So we might be actually seeing the side effects of the tire wear up on that high side there a little bit. The only other one that was running up there was Clayton White quite a bit, but it doesn't seem like he is as loose out of 2 as what Brody Marinko is.
You just switch the camera off, and then he gives Ron Harrington a shove into turn 3 and kicks him down the track. And now he gets passed by both the 79 and the 54. I just kind of chuckled when you switched the camera. Contact was made finally on the track somewhere around the Thunder Valley. And you're going to see right here. And a little boop bonk. There you go. I'm going to ship you off the top lane, and I'm going to take that spot. And then so.
Oh, and then it slowed up the 79 of Steve Knight, too. Man, not what Stephen Knight was looking for on that. But no, before that happened, and you can see he's still loose off of there. Oh, Clayton White loose off of 2 as well. We finally caught that, Jeremy. We might be seeing what running that high line early on does to those tires, because these are 2 of them that had been running that high line quite often, and they're still up there. And we seen Clayton White get wicked loose off 2 as well. So take note for anybody that might have the broadcast on that's also racing and listening to our beautifully sexy voices out there. Running the high line early on may not be a good thing, as you see 2 trucks right now just way out of sorts.
One of those people just tuning in is the 57 on Tuesday, Mr. Brian Fine, saying, "What's up, family? How you doing, man? Hopefully your week's going good." It has been good and getting a new one started.
It would be safe to say that we are doing fine, Mr. Brian.
There we go. There we go. Just still Dustin doesn't want to grab the ladder, just picking the low-hanging fruit off the tree.
Work smarter, not harder, my guy.
There it is. Sometimes you can find the ripe ones down low, too. So
that's right.
That's it. And not too much going. I'm cycling through here. A lot of spacing amongst the field.
Except for this.
Except for second and third place. I was just going to key up on that. That's pretty impressive. Side by side. Bobby Mantle looking to dethrone Joshua Slade from second. It's not the fact that Bobby Mantle's going fast. It's just Joshua Slade is going slow
and loose.
Close, loosey goosey. This is usually how Joshua Slade runs his trucks, is right on edge. So right on par with that. But it did allow Bobby Mantle to take over second.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, we all know here that anybody that tunes in that, I mean, Joshua Slade likes to run his trucks on the loose side. That's where it's at. You know, loose is fast. You even it out in the corners. But Joshua Slade was also one of the drivers running it early on that high side, making passes, if you recall, Jeremy. So, again, out of all the drivers that are showing looseness coming off of 2, more than anything, and off of 4 as well, are all drivers that really hung on that high side there quite a bit early on in the race, and now you're seeing the aftermath of it. You're seeing the effects.
Ooh, JJ McCoy drives it right almost into EJ Luna, going really slow into turn 1.
Oh
no! Crash, saves it, kept it up against the outside wall, but that's going to really hurt Joshua Slade. Not from the damage aspect, but he lost multiple seconds on the track there. Heavy hit there from the 24 of EJ Luna.
Yeah, that was a huge hit there from the 24. And I don't know, I mean, it looked like they caught him in a bad spot. Like, there was no place for him to go if he was trying to get out of the way. He couldn't do it. They caught him in the entry of the corner. You know, you really can't get down to the apron here, Jeremy, because if you try to force that truck down to the apron, it's just going to get it all out of sorts from that transition from track to apron. And it didn't matter where he was at. He was in the way. So then when he come off the corner there, he was just out of sorts completely and just shot him straight to the wall. That was a hell of a hit.
Yeah, 100% there. Clayton White, I'm also seeing he's continuing to be loosey-goosey. 62 laps into this thing. Brian Fine saying, just got done celebrating Bristol's first birthday today. So they had such a fine day today, Dustin. Would you believe that?
You know what? Man, how time flies and you're having fun. I remember when the announcement was made that Little Bristol was going to be joining us, and you were away while she came into this world. But, man, it's been a year already. So congratulations to you and your family and Little Bristol as well on her first birthday. But no, Jeremy, back to the action. Yeah, we were watching Clayton White. He's loose all over right now. We're working lap 64 at 200. And, Jeremy, it looks like these drivers are going to try to stretch that out as much as possible. We do have some takers to pit road. John Howard, Ron Harrington are doing the exit dance right now on their way back out. EJ Luna's on pit road, but I would have to say that is more for damage repair than anything else. Mark Sherwood making his way down. So pit road's starting to get busy as it sits right now, Jeremy, lap 65.
Yep, 3-4 trucks on pit road, 1 with damage, 3 because they're tired of those really old tires that they're currently running right now. Waiting for the top 5 really to hit their way down pit road. Once the first person breaks through, I would imagine everybody else is going to follow right in. Well, never mind. The first boomer button box caution is out. Can you believe that? I didn't think we are going to see one of these things.
Jeremy, but, can you believe who it involves?
The 24, I think EJ Luna, he's slow in turn 4.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's already got damage. He's loose. He's loose. He's more loose.
Oh, way loose. Whoa.
Oh. All right,
and almost Slade again. Oh, and then Danny White come in at the last minute. Oh, man. We're going to go back and take a look at that. So, and I said Slade again because Slade had a little bit of front nose contact with EJ Luna when he popped the wall earlier, and this is from Slade's point of view right now. You see him loose, and almost takes him there. Slade has to take evasive maneuvers there. Danny White gets it, and the outside wall. Marinko and Knight almost get it. Man, what a turn of events tonight. First boomer button box caution, lap 66, Jeremy, and pit road is busy.
Pit road is indeed busy, and this is going to allow us to step away for our first picture-in-picture commercial break at the same time. So we will be right back before the drop of the green flag for the second time this evening. And back to full screen here for the Rock, Paper, Scissors 200 from the Global Sim Racing Truck Series. A half a lap left, and we're going to go back to green flag action, resuming this race on lap 71. So we're just 30 laps shy of breaking the halfway mark in tonight's race. Front row, Chad McGinley, Bobby Mantle, teammates from Grim Reaper. Joshua Slade from 101 Motorsports with his teammate to the outside, Brody Marico. So Grim Reaper P12, 1 of 1, 3, 4.
And then a mix in the third row.
And you got a mix of both Grim Reaper and 1 of 1. So, of course, that's your two fastest teams tonight. Pace Truck with the quick whip down to the pit road in the restart zone. Green flag's out for the second time here this evening. Great restart by the 65 Chad McGinley. P1 slides in, single file top 3. Joshua Slade pressing the issue on the 89 into turn 1. Release them just a touch here down the back straightaway. Almost everybody single files out. Joshua Slade goes up to the top of the track here to start the first lap on 3 and 4. Gets the run down the hill to the inside. Going to take a look to go to P2.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Slade pushing the issue as much as the 89. Slade restarted on the inside lane, and the 89 squeezed it to get behind his teammate. And right now, side by side, Steve Knight in the background gets loose, noses it into the inside wall. No caution. It is below the yellow line, so no caution is out. Steven Knight going to lose a lot of positions there, Jeremy. We're going to go back to the Nerd TV replay, see what happened here. He went into the corner, looked good, hit those bumps on corner exit, Jeremy. Fresh tires, hit the bumps, and around she went into the inside wall. Man, tough break for the 79.
Yeah, tough break for sure. Clayton White with the personalized view of that wreck there. Solo spin,
good call.
no caution.
Good call. You know what?
We got time?
Let's do it.
There we go. Runs up the track, gives him the separation, which is what he needed to avoid this wreck.
Ooh. Oh,
Just
man.
like that. Yeah, it's twice now we've seen a truck slam the inside wall. Very common to happen here at Rockingham. Saw EJ Luna do it first. Steven Knight to do it second. Oh, look at this. I know long run speed, but oh, well, there's Brody. He's going to get loose. I think Slade actually touched the outside wall in turn 2. But we know the long run speeds with the 65 and the 12 be the first lead change tonight. As you see right here, Clayton White looking to the inside of Bradley Minor from 1 of 1. Going to take it deep to the yellow line there, and typically not the best route because the outside's going to do well on corner exit. But not this time. They're going to be dead heat to 3.
Yeah, dead heat. That's the second time down the backstretch they've been dead heat, but finally Brad...
Wreck.
Oh, big wreck. Oh, no.
Joshua Slade with... he's been the cause of this. He was involved in it. I'm not too sure, but your two fastest trucks
no.
down with the most damage here. They turned chat off in the server, so I can't hear anything. But,
it was Luna again. Was that in front of the leaders?
It sure
was. Oh.
God.
Oh,
man.
my.
That's exactly what happened to Watkins Glen to an extent. William Byron ramped off the left rear of Brad Keselowski late in the race. And same thing happened. Chad McGinley's going to ramp off at EJ Luna's rear end. Throws him into the outside wall with Joshua Slade. They're both missing fender pieces.
That is championship implications right there, Jeremy. As we're going to go on board with McGinley. You see it happening there and tries to correct it right back up in front of McGinley. And, of course, Slade is right there because those two were battling hard. That's 2 of your championship contenders right there. That's what, first and second?
That is definitely first place.
That's first place,
third.
and if the first and third place involved in that one right there, so that is huge championship implications, Jeremy. Man, what a turn of events.
All right, so for those that are racing that can't hear us, when you get loose and you're multiple laps down, just bring it below the yellow line. I don't know any benefit that EJ would have had by overcorrecting back to the outside of the track. Just keep it below the surface and you're safe. And that is worst case scenario. That is Kevin LePage style, where you come back up the track. Innocent victims happen to be some of the fastest trucks, not just tonight, but all season long. That's just a huge heartbreak for the 65 and the 12. But Dustin, it might make the 14 smile. He's P2 and points 10 out of that 65. So this is going to bring them really close for the next race.
It really is, but I mean, it's Clayton White's not one that would like to benefit off somebody else's misfortune. It's we've all been a victim of that, Jeremy. I mean, I've been a victim of LePage. You've been a victim of it. And that's the reason why, drivers always say in the sim racing community, hey, lock it down. They mean put the brakes on, lock it down so that you don't come back up into traffic. Or if you're spinning and it's past the point of safe return, meaning if you try to continue saving it, you're just going to loop it. Then like Jeremy said, take it below the yellow line, because that's the kind of stuff that you do not want to be your name being marked with, is having championship implications because, of a truck that was lost control that took out first and third place in points, and really shuffled things up. You don't want somebody to do a what if later on in the season, like, well, I possibly could have had second place or I could have had the championship if it wouldn't have been for that one race that's, I was taken out by a driver that was 2 laps down, losing control. Nobody wants to be in that situation. And it's tough. I mean, especially with how competitive the racing scene is. It's tough, Jeremy.
And it's very tough, especially at a short track, or kind of short track like. This track seems smaller to me than Dover, but yet it's the same distance, so I don't know how that plays. Like, I feel like this is much shorter. But I guess it's the dog leg that does it, the difference, but either way, it is a short track style.
Well, and Dover's corners just seem like they're, miles long, too.
And they really do. It's quite impressive. But this is going to change the landscape here. McGinley's Joshua Slade still getting repairs, and it's just not good. So their race is done. Bobby Mantle, Brody Marinko, that's your front row here. Pace truck cuts it real sharp right across the 89's nose into the restart zone. And just like that, Bobby Mantle is going to jump out to a 2-truck length advantage over Brody. Bradley Miner's going to take a little bonus out of this, get himself into P3. JJ McCoy going to back it down and go single file. Top 5 does so respectably. Into turn 3, 22 is slow. Clayton White's going to jump to the top here to try to take 4th.
Yeah, that is your battle for 4th place right now between JJ McCoy, Clayton White, and Jeremy. Like we talked about, I mean, this shakes the championship up quite a bit. I mean, you talked about Clayton White, being happy, but what about Abram Ghostin, who, as we are working through, is towards the bottom of that list, trying to maintain his spot within, the next cut line. He's running P6 right now. If he plays his cards right, he can have a tremendous points day today, especially seeing as your 1st and 3rd place trucks right now, we're still on pit road getting repairs.
Yeah, their race is completely toast. Look at this, 2x2 for the race lead here, spicing it up here. 54 Marinko looking to the inside, trying to get himself a lead lap. I think only 2 trucks have led a lap. Now 3 as Marinko's there. Mantle loose, try to get some side draft. Not enough. 54 leads that lap.
Yeah, that is your 3rd different leader tonight among Green Flag Racing. Of course, the 65, Chad McGinley, being one of the 3. Oh, Clayton White, really loose coming off of the corner there. Is able to maintain, but that puts him side by side with McCoy. As I was saying, Mantle obviously being the other driver that has led a lap, and contact up front with your leaders there. A little bit of door banging between Mantle and Marinko as they're still duking it out.
Yeah, you got 3 lead changes here amongst 3 leaders. 54 trying to keep him at bay here by getting the draft off the left rear, able to match the speed into the corner, but on exit of 3 and 4 goes back single file. Bobby Mantle's going to take that truck and half length lead as he goes deep into the turn number 1 entrance there. And a little diamond effect from the 54. Everybody else goes right to the bottom of this short track here. And they took the note, Dustin. They heard you. Stick to the bottom. That's the long run advantage.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, I know that it's tough. Oh man, is John Howard into the wall hard there? Forces Mark Sherwood to go way low and take evasive action, but he's able to do it. But I know it's not the best, and I know it's hard to pass, but on the long run, and I mean, you got to look at our first green flag run. We went 66 laps before the first boomer button box caution. So this race and these drivers have the potential to go long run. You will thank your tires later, or actually vice versa. They will thank you later by running that low line and not running that high line as much. You know, minimize when you have to go up there. If making a pass is what you need to do, go up there to make the pass and then stick it low, but don't keep it up there because you're just going to burn them.
Yeah, use it for passing and then get yourself back to the bottom is what we're saying here. It looks like maybe another attempt for the race lead. Continuing to spice it up, Marinko and Bobby Mantle is. I'm loving this battle here. We're doing this for 10 plus laps. And we're just seeing the 89 and 54 showcase your new two leaders right now on the back stretch. Really close to one another. Both red, white, and black are the color schemes. 89 is going to look to do a crossover. Not going to work this time. Fifth lead change. Back to Marinko at the line to complete lap number 89.
Yeah, and as that's going on, you got a battle for third right now between McCoy and Miner. Miner on the high side, McCoy on the inside. Clayton White waiting for these two to figure out who's going to decide to pass who. Right now, looks like Miner's got the advantage until corner entry. McCoy holding on. These two still side by side, coming off of turn 4. Through that little dog leg there, that D-shaped front stretch, and still side by side, Jeremy, as they throw it off into turn 1.
Having some fun here. Third, fourth, and fifth on your screen. Ooh, McCoy gets really close, has to drive it down the track to avoid contact. And that's going to allow Clayton White to have enough momentum to pass JJ McCoy on turn 3, exiting 4, single file. Goes back the entire field. And so Clayton White trying to maximize now this golden opportunity that he has been received from EJ Luna to maximize not only over Chad McGinley, but also the third place driver that was only 2 points behind the 14. That was Joshua Slade. So he's just doing what he can now, and he's putting himself in a great spot, P3 at the moment.
Yeah, and one thing I did notice is Brad Miner did not fight the 14. I think Brad Miner's got a long run mindset on there. He knew the 14 was faster. He just sat here and backed off, rolled out of the throttle, didn't get back in the throttle as fast, and just let him go. I do want to point out, Jeremy, as we were watching the side-by-side battle, I don't know if it's just me looking at the big picture and everything else, but I did not notice. I always thought they were just paint splashes in the background of Mantle's car, and no, it's the actual Canadian maple leaf back there. I did not realize that. That's the Canadian maple leaf that's just kind of splashed in the back there, and it's on the hood there in red. So that's a new paint job that he debuted just a few weeks ago. But it's a beautiful paint job. Is right now side by side, him and Clayton White. Clayton White definitely on the attack right now, Jeremy, since that last caution. Now with the storyline kind of setting up the way that it is.
It's a great scheme, and it kind of breaks the team paint scheme lineup. They all had the same scheme, just different colors. Mantle said, you know what? I'm going to take the mantle that's on that call there and run a different scheme. And so it looks great. It's doing well for him. He's not had a bad week since debuting it. And he's got some running down to do now. The 14, Clayton White, passed him like he was sitting still, and now we're 2 truck lengths away from maybe our 4th different leader tonight. It's going to be Clayton White. He's just going to drive up to the back bumper of the 54. Dustin, this 14, where did he come from?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, since the unfortunate events that took out first and third in the points, and that's McGinley and Slade, and Clayton White sees that he has a golden opportunity, as you stated, or we'll call it a pearl white opportunity.
There you go.
Laid out in front of him. He's trying to maximize that, and he is laying the pressure on quite a bit. And Marinko feels it because Marinko's picked up the pace a little bit here, making it a little bit tougher for Clayton White. But I tell you what, Clayton's still right there with him, looking to that outside, putting that nose there. Not quite the run, but I would expect a crossover. There it is. It looked like he was setting it up, but that hard crossover killed his momentum run there. So he's going to close in. He's going to have to regain back up, Jeremy. But big-time pressure right now up here for that top spot.
these two guys right here have been one of the loosest trucks on the long run. So as they continue to battle one another here, this is going to be looking like, was it Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson at Atlanta in the late 2000s, where they were just slipping and sliding all over the place for the final 20 laps. It's going to look something similar to that. Here's the 14 jumping up to the second groove, poking the nose for some fresh air. Gets a run. Does he go to the inside? He does. The nose is there. Brody has to move up to the second and third groove. 14 has the nose advantage. Can he keep it down? He does. Now this is... Nope, never mind. 54 gets him cleared, but nope. Clayton White's going to drive it back in, Dustin, and try to take it off in turn 4.
Going to try to, but Brody Marinko going to get that high line run there. He's going to be able to maintain the lead at the line. Still, 54 Marinko leads this race as these two are still battling out side by side, but this right here is Clayton White's best opportunity. Still doesn't get him clear. A little bit of a wall scrape from Brody Marinko. Clayton White will have him cleared going into turn 3 as long as he plays his cards right, Jeremy. We will have our 4th different leader for the Rock, Paper, Scissors 200.
There it is. Just past the halfway mark. New momentum for the 14, Clayton White. Mark him 1 lap led here tonight. 4 different leaders. 6 or 7 different lead changes. He's got about a 2 truck length advantage now, and this will continue. But now I know Bobby Mantle is watching that and going, all right, guys, just burn your stuff up, please, and thank you. So if we get to lap 130, 140, we might see the 89 back up and having a 3 truck battle here.
Oh yeah, I definitely think Mantle is playing the long game here, Jeremy. And you and I both know this is one thing that we probably both struggle at so much, is watching those trucks ahead of you drive off and you maintaining your pace, because you're like, man, I don't want them to get too far ahead. I'm never going to catch them back, but you will, because they're burning their stuff up. Bobby Mantle will start reeling them back in, but that's the toughest thing, is to show that, hold, to not pressure yourself to push up and burn your stuff up along with the other drivers. And Bobby Mantle's proven that. Veteran move there by the driver of the 89.
If it's not Dover,
Resolve.
I have a tough time doing it.
That's what I was looking for. That's the word, the resolve.
The resolve, yeah. I cannot do it unless it's Dover. I know for a fact Dover, if I let him go 2 or 3 seconds, I'll get him in 30 laps, and I'll be back on the door panel passing him. That's not a problem. But when it comes like Rockingham, I'm terrible at long runs. I can talk about it all day, but I can't execute worth a dime at it. So I'm gonna let these guys just show us how it's done. And here we go. We're seeing 89 creeping on the 54, getting a little bit here and there, but at the same time Clayton White continuing to extend this lead a little bit out further and further. This is a great time, Dustin. We're gonna jump to our second picture-in-picture. We'll be back shortly. Well, I wanted to take a break, and then Bradley Miner, fresh out of pit road with the cold virtual Goodyears, says, I'm going to drive it off into turn 3.
Ooh!
And JJ McCoy actually kind of chops off the nose of the 46, cut it a little too close, and sent him to the outside wall.
That was something we did not see before. We just thought it was from the initial one that it was a little bit. Oh my, yeah, JJ McCoy hard down the track. Did he make wall contact on that? Get loose coming down, or no? He was just, that was just a cut. Oh, he thought he was clear because he closed up on him and passed him so fast, and he went down to follow his line down on that paint and just chopped the nose of the 46, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was really strange. Bradley Miner did drop out into a packet loss. He came back into the session, got back into his truck, and then with a half a lap finds the outside wall. So that's unfortunate there for the 46. And this is going to bring everybody else onto pit road. You see the race off is going to be the 14, 89, 54 is the 22. Barely gets fourth place there. Abram fifth. Justin LeBlanc sixth. Passing the blue cone in line there. And that'll be your lineup. Basically the same as it was before. And Justin, we're gonna re-rack them and stack them here and see another awesome battle for the race lead, because that opening 10 to 15 laps was quite amazing between the top 3 and 4.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, that was some really good racing. You see some drivers electing to stay out right now. See Danny White there, Ron Holmes, Chad McGinley is another one of them. They're electing to stay out. 79 is Steve Knight. He stays out as well. So these drivers here, once the pace lights on the top of the truck go out, they should get their wave around and get a lap back, putting them at the tail end of the line there after they make their cycle. But yeah, the racing was phenomenal, Jeremy. And I mean, we're counting laps down fast. You know, like I said, it just seems like that this track just takes longer to run at times, even though it's right at that mile. It's actually less than a mile at 0.97 miles. You know, it just on track as you're watching, it seems like it takes longer to run it. But really, I mean, it's the race ticks by at a very fast pace.
Did you just fact check the mileage at Rockingham to 0.97?
I did not just fact check that. Did you just fact check me? Am I correct?
No, you said it, and I was like, wait a minute,
Well,
this is
hold
what
on.
we just talked about.
Hold on. Hey, look at that. Track length, 0.97 miles. There you go. There's our fact check of the night, presented by the Global Racing Truck League.
No, it's presented by Dustin Logston, a.k.a. Ballistic. Just coming out of the rocking chair to school us on that one. I thought you pulled that right out of a hat, but no. I had it right in front of our face the entire time. Would you look at that?
Well, you know what? That's a shout out to our man, Mr. Jason Rockefeller. He was our Larry Mack, our stat guy. That guy could pull stats out of the air for years past. So, miss that guy. Hope everything is going good with Mr. Rockefeller. Hope one day we can, even for a one-off, sit here and have the dream team back together in the booth again.
Yeah, hopefully he's doing well. That's an excellent shout out there. But we are going back racing here, Dustin. They are stacked up. Pace truck about to rotate off the track back onto the pit road section. And we're going to see the 14, what he can do on these restarts as your race leader. There we are. Green flag is out once more for the third time. He gets just over a truck length. Mantle's going to take a look to the outside, not lifting in turn 1. 3 wide almost. Marinko decides to keep it 2 wide for those two. Dead heat down to turn 3. They give them space. They're going to stay side by side. Looks like McCoy going to go to the top and loose. Oh no, Clayton White's around for a 360 no contact style points given to the 14.
And locks it down. That's what we mean by locking it down. Hold those brakes. Bring that truck to a stop as soon as possible. And that is not what the 14 wanted to try to capitalize on this one here, Jeremy. But that one there, he got loose out of the corner. And as he was getting loose, he had to throttle out of it. And the 54 was there just to try to help finish it off a little bit. And off and around goes the 14. So tough break there for the 14. But again, you see all 4 tires locked up, Jeremy. He's hard on those brakes. Brings it to a stop. Everybody splits him.
I definitely saw him getting loose, and I think he might have spun regardless. But the 54 definitely gave him the final touch to send him around. You see him loose, bonk. So, like, he was definitely sideways for sure.
He was loose.
He's going to correct it or not.
Yeah, he was loose, but there was definitely a chance that he could have, not saying he would have, but he could have saved that. It wasn't past that point of no return, but that wasn't a light tap either on the back bumper. So that definitely is what propelled that right rear the rest of the way around to where it surpassed and went beyond that point of safe return.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, thinking about it, that might have been the cleaner version of the two potential wrecks. Because if he would have locked it down like that, try to save it or overcorrect it, which we've seen in the previous wrecks tonight, he could have done a lot more damage to not just himself, but others. So probably the smart move there to do a 360 lockdown. Cautions are breeding cautions, Dustin. And trucks going back down pit road here. Remember, you're limited on 3 sets behind the wall. So use them wisely. We didn't think we were going to have to talk about that kind of piece on pit road, but here we are now with 4 cautions in the books, just past halfway, and that's it. So we got a couple more laps. We're going to go back to green flag.
Yeah, and like you said, we didn't think with the way that the race started, we didn't have a caution see one until lap 66 that, we were going to be talking about this, but man, how the tides have turned on this, and we've had, cautions breeding cautions. We've had cautions having championship implications, being on the 65 of McGinley and the 12 of Slade. And Jeremy, it keeps getting rougher and rougher for these championship drivers. This one here, now striking your second place in points, Clayton White, getting loose, and then just a little bit of a little tap-tap-tap-a-roo from the 54 kind of finished the job as the 14 was loose, sent him around. So now Clayton White went from battling for the lead to now sitting P7. So he's got a little work ahead of him, but he's got the laps. But now, Jeremy, you got to factor in that tire wear. He's going to be pushing it harder. So he's definitely going to be wanting to try to figure something out with that and see what can come from that. You don't want to burn him up, but at the same time, that Bobby Mantle's fast. that JJ McCoy's fast, Marinko's fast. You do not want them to get out to a super long lead, because if it comes down to green flag pit stops, you're leaving a lot of chance at that to try to make that gap up.
Another thing to notate, 50% of the chances of a caution will come out if you're leading the race and you're getting wrecked. 2 of the 4 cautions have been involved with the race leader at the time of the caution.
Look at you with the math stats, my man.
Yeah, 4 divided by 2 is 2. That is 50%. I can do first grade math just fine.
Hey, I wasn't going to say how easy or hard it was. I was just saying, look at you with the math stats.
Well, there we go. I can every once in a while surprise somebody or someone. So I'm glad I was able to do that to my co-partner in chief. Here we are. Green flag back out. Mantle. Nice jump there. Correct jump. Good jump. Nothing negative there, but here we go. He's going to get 3 truck lengths over the 54. McCoy's going to file in 3rd place. Abram Ghost, and welcome to the top 5. Find himself in 4th, and also welcome to the top 5. Justin LeBlanc in the 85. Clayton White restarts in 6th, but Dustin, I don't expect him to be there long. There he is, already back in 5th.
Yeah, he is working his way forward. He does not want to waste very much time here. But what's helping him is these 2 drivers right here duking it out for that top spot. Marinko takes the lead away from Bobby Mantle. Didn't look like Mantle put up a lot of a fight, but again, I think Bobby's got that long run mentality in there. He's wanting to make sure he's got tires at the end and waiting for everybody to burn theirs up. So as we're talking about, though, Abram Ghostin, who is running 4th, now has a lot of pressure from the 14 of Clayton White. Clayton White looking to the inside. Nose on the inside, coming off corner exit. Gonna try to keep the nose there, Jeremy, just not enough.
Getting a little stalled out here from the 25, but once he clears him, a little bit of fresh air until he gets to the 22. That's just going to help him close in on the race leaders currently, as Marinko still leading the way. 2 truck links, now 3 over the 89. Bobby Mantle off of turn 2 here. You see him all say, oh, Clayton White a little loose there. And the 25 checks up and allows Justin LeBlanc to sweep through. He's going to quickly take that spot. LeBlanc's put him now in P5.
Yeah, so top 5 for the first time for LeBlanc, and it may not be long as Abram Ghostin back to the attack on the inside. I think Ghostin liked being up in that top 5 there, and that's where he wants to go. Loose off the corner, side-by-side racing, but stays in the throttle, but will have to relinquish that run that he had. So right now, Ghostin in 6th, LeBlanc in 5th, and now JJ McCoy has got a mirror full of the 14 as he is trying to truck forward right now, battling for that third place podium position is the 14 of Clayton White.
He's playing the patient game. He could have maybe stuck the nose under JJ into turn 1, decided against it. Now he's going to run him close into 3 and 4. You see the run advantage. He's probably going to look to the inside as of now. There we are, getting the side draft, puts him in, got the quarter. Can he hold it through 1 and 2? This is the toughest place to pass versus the other side of the track. Could not do it that time. Back to McCoy, 1 truck length for him. And in the very next corner, I kind of figured the 14 would go to the top to try to get the grip up there for the pass. You see the drive down the track. He's going to use it to get back to him. Door panel this time. Drives it in deep. Forces the 22 up the track just a touch. And just like that, very well executed. Close cut over the nose of the 22.
Woo! You cannot get any closer on a slide job there to pull back in line than you did with Clayton White on the 22 of McCoy. But man, look out. Clayton White on the move. Brody Marinko out to a comfortable lead over half a second over Bobby Mantle. And Bobby Mantle running in second place. But Jeremy, only about a truck length and a half separates him and the 14 of Clayton White. So Clayton on the move, trying to get back up to where he was at. We'll have to see what he has in store for the 89 of Mantle.
And then after he gets around Mantle, if he does, I would keep your eyes peeled on the 14 and 54, just because we like to beef up some drama with our new segment. We've got beef coming up next year, hopefully. I guess get locked in before the season start next year. That'd be kind of fun to debut. But yeah, this should be a good race. Also a good race. 22 is falling back a little bit. LeBlanc, 1 truck length, not even at the line this time. He's looking to progress himself into 4th place.
Yeah, looking to move up. That is your highest Lone Star Racing driver right now, is Justin LeBlanc in the top 5, putting all kinds of pressure on the 22 of McCoy. Looks to the high side. McCoy drifts it up to that 1.5 lane groove there, if you want to call it that, just to try to block a little bit of that run. But this battle here heating up just as the battle between Clayton White and Bobby Mantle was heating up. But Clayton White completes that pass, now sets his sights on the leader, Brody Marinko. Well, yeah, Bobby Marinko. Ha! No, Brody Marinko.
Bobby Marinko.
I
had a baby out there.
Apparently, Bobby Mantle and Brody Marinko had a baby, and it's Bobby Marinko.
All right. Well, where you see second place now is that Pearly White 14. He's got to track down that race leader, 54, Mr. Marinko himself, as the gap. I'm really impressed of how Clayton White is able to drive into turn 1 so deep, so early. It's such a shallow corner entrance. He's able to stick it and make the pass happen. If it were me, I'd be sliding up the track and I'd be losing a ton of ground. But he somehow, how his truck rotates through turn 1 in the center of 1 and 2, it just does fantastic for pass opportunities. He's done it twice now on this run. And he's still closing in on Brody Marinko. He was 0.7 back, now he's 0.5. And then at the line this time, just a little less, still at 0.5. So he's closing in on that 54 slowly.
Yeah, slowly closing in on it, but again, you still got to remember tire management. How much is Clayton White burning right now trying to get back up to where he was at? Remember, he was battling for the lead between him and Bobby Mantle when that last Boomer button box caution came out that saw him do the spin cycle and then park it middle track on the front stretch there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, but definitely chasing him in big time.
Keep our eyes on that. So I think we will now go picture in picture. Maybe we won't get a caution this time. We'll find out. We'll be right back. And back. Full screen here, completing 138 of the scheduled 200 laps for the rock, paper, scissors 200. Top three, still the same. Clayton White's trying to chase him down and then falls back, then chases him and falls back. And then right here, this battle on the track, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Well, 4th, 5th, 6th, really. Was getting fun. 85 scraped the wall right before we went back to full screen. So it reeled him back to the 25, and then he's gapping him a little bit more now. You see the line shift, 85 to the top, the 46 stays true to the bottom, 25 somewhere in the middle. So every ounce of this track being used up, and this is what I love, Dustin. The driver choice. Don't be stuck to one or the other. You have options everywhere, and that's what makes things fun.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and this battle here has been heating up quite a bit. You know, we talk about battle. Second place just changed hands. Just this last lap, Clayton White could be seeing the effects of how hard he was pushing to try to gain back all that track position that he had lost on that last boomer button box caution. So now falls back to third. He sits comfortably in between Mantle and McCoy. Brody Marinko, though, Jeremy, still leading the way. Still has about a 5 truck length gap between himself and Bobby Mantle.
Yeah, doing well. Clayton White, that last lap or two, just really fell back and kind of feeling the effects of driving it really deep into turn number 1 and trying to pass some trucks, and the tires are finally starting to give way. Bobby Mantle, a long run setup. You know him with Chad McGinley. Chad had the best long run setup until he got wrecked early on. Now we're starting to see what that Grim Reaper setup does with the 89 as he's getting ever so close to your race leader, Marinko, which Marinko in the past 5 laps has been lane searching. He's been stuck to the bottom up until then. And now, especially 1 and 2, I've been seeing more and more go up to that 3rd and 4th groove.
Yeah, searching for speed right now, searching to where the truck is not loose, but I tell you what, Mantle has been sticking that paint down there through every corner. That is where that tire management comes in, and he's been doing that. You haven't seen him switch lanes, really go all over the place. He's been running the very consistent same line, lap in and lap out, and look where he's put him. P2 right now, right on the back bumper. This is one of the few times you've seen him actually go to the top side there, but he's not searching right now. He's going to the top side because he's trying to find a way by. He gets that run, and that's why he was setting it up. Get that run off the corner, now puts him on the inside of the 54 Marinko, side by side as they go through turns 3, off of turn 4, coming to the line. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between the 89 and 54. Not the first time we've seen it tonight, Jeremy.
No, once these guys get side by side, there's almost a guaranteed contact somewhere on the track. As the 14 and Clayton White's like, hey, you guys want to wreck from me? I'll take that lead once more from you. And he's going to close it up a little bit, and 89 does make it happen. Oh, 54, Lucy. Goosey off there off of turn 4, able to save it 2 truck lengths back now of the 89, who I presume is just going to drive off into the sunset here on this run. We're still looking at 1 more pit stop. I don't think these guys can make it 90 laps on fuel or on tires. So we still have opportunities for passing on pit road. But right now, there goes the 89, just quickly pulling it away. About 7 or 8 truck lengths over the 54.
Yeah, and it was just a matter of time, and now you see the 54 going way up top. Clayton White right there, though. That just closed the gap in for Clayton White. But remember, these 2 drivers were the ones that struggled with handling on their trucks. Their trucks were very, very loose. I haven't seen it as much from the 14 this session here as what we did in the first one. You know, it looks like he made some adjustments on pit road. We did see him lose some ground there once because he did get loose, but a lot of that was because he was pushing that truck pretty heavy. But this right now is heating up to be your battle for P2, Jeremy.
14 got really close to the 54 on corner exit turn 2. Slide underneath them. And 14 trying the bottom this time as Brody has went to the top once more to find comfort with the grip lane. And now it's restricting the 14's run. The 14's gotten really tight, not able to do much on corner exit. It actually hits the wall that time running the bottom. So the 54 is doing exactly what it needs to, taking away the preferred lane of the 14. making him work extra hard to get this P2 here. But at the same token, you see that black and blue truck, JJ McCoy, reeling him in a little bit more.
Yeah, has been reeling him in quite a bit, but and you see McCoy just kind of taking a little bit of a back seat there, just so these drivers could figure out who's going to take the pass, who's going to do what. You see the 14 of Clayton White go to the inside once more. Up now, fender to fender, bumper to bumper. Doesn't quite get him, has to pull back in. And Jeremy, it's looking like this 54 is just, it's too tough. That run on that high side as it sits right now, it's going to take a bobble or one hell of a run. I mean, well-placed run and setup from the 14 to get by this 54.
The drone is looking at it as we go side by side. Will there be contact? There almost was. 14 has to back it down there. Gonna lose all that ground he just made. Attacking once more. This is where he's been so good. Attacking turn 1. Able to stick it so far. Corner exit. Did a pretty good job, but still Brody with the preferred lane off of turn 2. Able to hold that position. Here comes Clayton White once more. He's just drives in so deep. Oh, there's more contact. And, oh, no, 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 no. So close to hitting the water barrels down there. And Dustin, remember the contact from the 54 and the 14 earlier? I was wondering if there was going to be anything, and the 14 did not give him much room and paid the price.
Yep, surely did going in. He had been trying to, look like there might have been a little bit of air in between those two trucks as well, Jeremy, as we're going super slow-mo here. Right there. Yep, right there's where contact was made, and you could still see track in between. So a little bit of an air pocket in between there. Push that front nose down, but Clayton White able to hold on to it. You see his hands moving left and right there to get control of that again, and back on the track he goes.
Such a frustrating thing as a driver, saying, I know I had space between us. Why did my truck get loose? And, aerodynamics sometimes just work in mysterious ways. And that is a big mysterious moment there. But he didn't lose a terrible amount of ground. He did cut the grass on the infield front stretch, but only lost a couple seconds. So he's still on the same straightaway as these two.
I think 54, maybe signaling pit road. Yep, 54 signaling pit road.
First green flag pit stop. And the first one is smooth for the drivers in the top 5 anyways. Great entrance for him. Now we're going to see everybody else. John Howard, he did come down that first green flag stint before the first caution. Windows open, Dustin.
Yep, Abram Ghostin in as well to the service of his pit crew. He's down and out. So yeah, final green flag pit stops for the evening at lap 158 of 200. But Jeremy, that leads the question when some of the other ones are going to be coming in. Here comes Justin LeBlanc in right now. He's going to give up 4th place to come down to the service of his virtual pit crew, get 4 virtual Goodyears, and fill that tank packed full of virtual Sunoco race fuel.
And I would imagine everybody else is going to be doing it really shortly because the fall off on these tires are so strong. If you know the top 5 are doing it, you might as well just bite the bullet and come on in. Looking at your race leader, Bobby Mantle. JJ McCoy right behind him. He's P2. Clayton White behind him. One of these guys have to be coming down real shortly, I would imagine. Not your race leader, not second, not third this time around. Still staying out. They're going to reign your top 3 for at least one more lap.
Yeah, trying to stretch it out as much as possible. But like you said, Jeremy, at some point in time, they're going to have to, because when everybody comes in, that fall-off difference between fresh tires and new tires it's going to be very substantial. And we've seen Clayton White really push his truck quite a bit. And he was able to do it for about 25 laps, maybe 30 laps, Jeremy. And we've got 39 laps left in the race tonight. So I mean, this is at that point now where drivers should probably be looking to make that last pit stop to try to gain as much time as possible. And I understand why they stay out, though, because that leaves them more time that they can essentially just run that very hard. JJ McCoy coming down pit road now. That's your 2nd place truck coming to the service of his virtual pit crew. That leaves Bobby Mantle still out front. Clayton White now takes over 2nd. And Mark Sherwood will now be your 3rd place driver as it sits right now once he cycles around.
Look at that third place mark, Sherwood. This guy would benefit really nice if he had a caution right now. Only 7 trucks on the lead lap or only 1 lap down. And so everybody else is 2 laps down. And so it'd give Mark a nice little decent chance for a top 5 finish if we were to see it. Last time by, Clayton White stayed out. 89, Bobby Mantle, he stayed out. Doesn't look like either one's going to come down pit road this time. And they're going to continue to extend this thing as much as they can, Dustin. Actually, nope, 14 Clayton White. He's coming down pit road. Late entrance here.
There's your
Great
second.
stop.
Yep, good entry. There's your second place driver. So that leaves essentially Bobby Mantle out there. So Bobby's going to have to come down at this point in time with everybody on fresh tires. He's going to want to come down pit road at some point in time here very soon. As otherwise, I mean, the second Clayton White gets his stuff done and gets out there, these guys are going to be putting down some heaters, Jeremy.
A couple of really fast laps. And then, so remember, you got 35 laps to go. Don't burn them all up too early. You have more time or more opportunities to burn them because you're not doing 60, 70 laps on the set. But still, don't overdo it. Here comes your race leader. We're going to see what this looks like. The 14 came down a lap prior, and he was only a couple seconds back. We'll see how much this closes the 14 up to the 89 after he gets done with his pit stop.
Yeah, well, right now, that's going to put, I mean, you look at it, Brody Marinko just got his lap back. He's working his way around. That's going to put Mark Sherwood, though, as your race leader as he passes Bobby Mantle. So that's going to put Sherwood at the top of the charts right now. Mark Sherwood looking to get himself a lap lead. Bobby Marinko coming around, and actually because of the early pit and was out there, if you look, Abram Ghostin and J.J. McCoy, Justin LeBlanc, all those drivers are actually ahead of Clayton White right now. Clayton White back in 7th, and he was the last truck to pit prior to Bobby Mantle. Bobby Mantle has now entered the racing service again. And right there's Abram Ghostin to his outside. That is a battle for 3rd place. But I would suspect Mantle, yep, there you go with the fresh tires. Clean run. He's going to maintain that 3rd spot. But as it sits right now, Jeremy, Mark Sherwood still out there just logging laps. Lap 167 to 200.
Clayton White had a little bit of a hiccup then, huh? He's 21.5 back to Bobby Mantle's 16.9. So he went from like 3.5 to 5 almost. So a little bit better pit stop overall from the 89 comparative to the 14. And majority have cycled through, as you said, just waiting on the 44. And there he is. That's going to be your last truck to hit down pit road. And it'll give it right back. Well, actually, no, we're waiting on the 54 Brody Marinko. He's extending this thing out. I forgot about him for a moment. He's back to the point here. He needs to come down pit road still.
No, I think he has made his pit stop. Yes, sir. Yep.
He did 2 tires?
Yeah, he made his pit stop. He's got...
He did.
Yeah. He's got
Suck it in there.
just a little bit on those tires. Don't know if it was a 2 or 4 tire stop. It's... With the way tires are, Jeremy, I do not see a 2-tire stop is going to benefit you, especially with when they started coming down. They had 39, 38 laps left. I don't see a 2-tire stop really benefiting you. Those 4 tires are going to gobble you up in probably about 25, 30 laps.
I'm looking back at the replay on my end, and the jack did go up both on the right side and left side of the truck, which to me is confusing. How did he get a 4-tire stop and clear Bobby Mantle by 4 seconds?
He came in a lot sooner, so he was making up a lot of time on track. So that's where the early pit stop comes in. It's kind of a trade-off. So the early pit stop, you come in, you make up more time on the track in the early stages, but if it goes too long, the drivers that waited longer to come in are going to be making up more time on the back side of the run. The question is it enough time? Did Bobby Mantle wait too long to sit here and make up that time on the back end? Did, Brody make the right call? We're going to find out, Jeremy. Lap 172 of 200. We are 28 laps away right now from the race end. So this is where the different, the pit strategies come in. Early pit, late pit, short pit. This is where the drivers kind of have a little bit of fluctuation and control over their own destiny, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess they did have an 8-lap difference, and so we'll see how much and how quickly 89 can close it in. He's 4
coming.
seconds back. Yeah, he's 2.5, and at this time, 2.24 tenths gained right there alone. So Brody Marinko will not be your race leader at the end of this thing.
No, and we're looking on board with Bobby Mantle right now, and that red car going into turn 3, that is your race leader, Brody Marinko. So you can see how Bobby Mantle is just trucking him and pulling him in lap after lap. And Jeremy, we got 26 laps still to go. Plenty of time. So like you said, he will not be your race leader here in just a short amount of laps.
No, he's going to get gobbled up pretty quick. Unless somehow the 89 plateaus, trying to run him down, and then it switches to the 54 for overall speed. Which I'll be curious to see how that goes comparative, because 89 does have a really good long run truck. Pass on the track. JJ McCoy looking over there. Ron Harrington in the 57. Gives them all the space possible. Passes in there, no problem. 25 to go, 24.5. There's Clayton White.
Just past Abram Ghostin.
Yeah, just past him. So moves on to P4, 7.2 back of your race leader.
Yeah, and Abram Ghostin running very, very well as well. Still in the top 5. His closest competition, the 85 right there of Justin LeBlanc, who's currently in a battle with Mark Sherwood. That is a battle not for position. But right now, Mark Sherwood has got the fresher tires, so he's kind of putting a little bit of battle to him. But that's making it a little bit more difficult for the 85 of LeBlanc to try to chase down Ghostin.
Yeah, just a little bit there. See your 2 Lone Star drivers on your screen. They're rotating back to second place, and he's under 1 second. Looking at Brody Marinko. And not letting down. He's been continuous. 0.3, 0.2, 0.3. Gaining. And it's well underneath 1 second. You're looking on the back of the roof camera of the 89, or the 54 rather. Gap is 0.6. And pass here over the 64, Danny White. Oh, 54 gets a little loose doing so. Really brings in the 89 here.
Oh, yeah, that closed in. Bobby Mantle like a dog sniffing fresh meat right now. He is ready to attack, and he is all over the back bumper. And right now, you got lap traffic up here. That is Stephen Knight and Chad McGinley. 3 wide there momentarily, as now we got a battle going on for the lead. Mantle on the inside, Marinko on the outside. Here's your battle for the race lead, Jeremy.
Man, oh man, 54 doing everything he can, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, 89 gets a little wobble. I thought he was going to make contact for a moment, but getting to turn number 1, this should be signed, sealed, delivered for the lead change. There it is. He got the gap. He's got the exit. 89, Bobby Mantle, back to the point with 20 laps to go.
20 laps to go. He just has to maintain, and he has to hope that there is not a caution, because if there's a chance that any of these drivers are stockpiling an extra set of those virtual Goodyear tires behind the wall. Now they started tonight's race with 4 sets of tires. If they are stockpiling one more there, Bobby Mantle may not want to see a caution here. We know that he has got the long run speed. He's quick on the short run too. But with everything bunched up, Jeremy, we know Marinko is short on the short run. Clayton White, McCoy, all 3 of those guys are very fast on the short run as well. So that's not what Bobby Mantle really wants. He wants his thing to stay green the way it is, all the way to the white and the checkered flag, so that he can maintain and do what he's been doing best at all race long tonight.
It would be so much fun to watch a caution fly right now, because the 89 is not the fastest truck on the very short run. And so it would stack up the leaders. It would be 2 wide, 2 for a little bit. It'd be a lot of fun. Oh, is Brody trying to... Oh, I thought he was going to come back and hit the outside wall. He even might have. Cutting out real close. He is getting looser and looser and looser, just like he has previous on the long runs. So he is just hanging on tight to try to secure second.
Yeah, and if he's not careful, he could lose it. JJ McCoy has been consistently trucking forward, especially on laps where you see the 54 Marinko get loose. And the 22 can't let up because right now he has got the pressure of the 14 all over him as well. So Clayton White now within 2 truck lengths behind JJ McCoy for that 3rd spot.
Looking at me, bouncing off the wall a couple more times, you're not going to be able to compete well, especially when you have the 14 all over your back bumper. This is for podium too, so Clayton White really wants to get there, talk to us here in the booth, but you can't do that getting loose. Man, oh man, there's some drivers that are run up against the wall already just to try and get the grip underneath them. It might not be a bad idea for maybe the 14 to do so too.
Yeah, it might not. I mean, you're looking at 14 laps to go. It, you know, he really has to put wheel in to keep it off that wall, and that's why that thing keeps breaking loose off the corner like that, the more wheel that he puts in. He closes in, though, Jeremy, about a truck length and a half right now. Now he's starting to look to the inside. You see McCoy moves way up the track. He's up into that 3rd groove. Clayton White on the bottom. McCoy's going to get that run off of turn 4, though, and that's what's going to make passing so tough, is that high side run through 3 and 4.
Battle gets really close now. Half a truck length, 14, 22, 12 and a half laps to go. And the rock, paper, scissors, 200. 14 has the clean air on the nose. Cannot get the throttle down though. Set him up once more. After he's going to back it up 2 truck lengths as he tags the wall too, just a touch. There's the difference there. He's going to allow the 14 to get really close. Cut him off on corner exit there, and there he goes back to 1 to 2 truck lengths just like that.
Yeah, that high side run is so pivotal there. And Clayton White's trying everything. He's trying that hard cut into turn 1 to try to get that run. The same move that he has used a number of times passing tonight. And like I said, this is your battle for P3 right now. So this is your final podium position, one of our what we call pivotal battle positions right now going on the track, as Bobby Mantle is driving away from Brody Marinko. Marinko doing everything he can to hold on. These 2 drivers sitting here battling it out, and they're still trying to chase down Brody Marinko, who just crossed the start-finish line further ahead, now off into turn 1. So they're bringing him in. At the same time, Jeremy, they're racing like this here. This is some good racing right now for 3rd.
Yeah, this is some very good stuff. 1 low, 1 high. Blocking the preferred groove for passing. So it's making Clayton White think about stuff. At the same time, the 22s are utilizing a little more tire wear to continue up on that 3rd groove. And so, as we get narrow and narrow in this race, 9 laps to go. Oh, he gives up the outside for the first time. Clayton's going to look to try to get a run off corner exit. Oh, never mind. He's going to destroy the outside wall. And he had the speed, just didn't have the turn ability to make it happen. But he's going to rewind and do it again.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these trucks, though. I mean, they can take quite a bit of punishment. That's why a lot of drivers love running these trucks. They could take a beat and just keep on ticking here. But that's exactly what Brody Marinko wanted to see. He didn't want to see that, though, getting loose out of turn 2 like he has been for about the last 10-plus laps, Jeremy. So he's just holding on. 7 more laps as Bobby Mantle just crossed the start-finish line. Brody Marinko doing everything he can to hold on to P2, as is JJ McCoy to P3. He's got a little bit more breathing room now after that wall tag from Clayton White, but Clayton White not giving up right now. This is probably your highest positional battle going on, and give it a couple more laps, Jeremy, and I would say that the 22 and McCoy is going to be right up there with Marinko, and this is going to be a 3-truck battle for position.
Yes, it will. 54 is slipping back so quickly. 6 laps to go, 6 miles to go, and I would imagine 54 will be there. And so this is going to make it really, really interesting. Will we see contact, or will it just be a clean pass, or does the 54 block everything he can? McCoy into the wall there, bounced off the turn 3. He's going to allow the 14, Clayton White, to get to the inside. Both loose off of 4. Clayton's going to hold the door panel. Does he drive it in deep like he usually does? No, he's going to match it, but they both slide up the track. Good apex for both. Good exit for both. This is getting a lot of fun here.
Oh yeah, still side by side as they go into 3. They both drift up the track right now. Clayton in that second groove, McCoy in the third. But that run, we talked about that turn 3, turn 4 run on that high side is just so strong if you can get your truck to stick there. But look at this. Marinko now in the same frame as McCoy and Clayton White. This is going to be about another lap, Jeremy. It's going to be a 3-truck battle for position, and that's going to be for the second and third and fourth place positions on track.
No pressure to the 89. Everybody else watching to see the conclusion of this race. 3 laps to go, 3 miles to go. Here we are. 22 backs up the corner for exit. 14 does not. He can look to the inside if he wants to. He's going to drive him deep into the corner, try to get him to overdrive it. He does not. They're at the back bumper of the 54. 2 laps to go here. McCoy going to switch to the inside. This for P2.
For P2, battle right now going on. McCoy on the inside, Marinko on the outside. Marinko gets loose, though, coming down the track there a little bit, but is able to maintain. He had that thing yawed out quite a bit. Side by side into turn 3 for second place. Clayton White is there. 1 lap to go. Clayton White looking to the inside. Bobby Mantle out with no pressure right now. This is your battle on the track. McCoy, P2. Clayton White battling for P3 with Brody Marinko. Side by side as they make it through the corner here. Contact made. Clayton White goes around. Marinko drives off. Marinko will get third place. Clayton White spun around. Clayton's going to lose a number of positions here before it's done.
Can lose a maximum up to 7th place if he doesn't get going. And that's John Howard that has to pass him in the 57. And he's coming up to him. And he does. He passes him. So the 14 will drop back to P7 now. This is 54 and 14 again. 3rd time they've made contact. But I think Clayton White... Okay, so there was definitely an air pocket. But the 54th, a shallow exit, kind of combines into a collision there off turn 2.
Yeah, it's the 54's coming down the track pretty hard right now. Doesn't allow very much space for the 14 to come up. 14 was coming up on the natural one. I mean, there was an entire lane and a half distance between the 54 and the wall on that one there. That's a tough one. These two have had a lot of history already in tonight's race, and that just adds to it for sure.
Not a good result there to see that. After what could have been, or what was being a very good finish for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But here's your winner, 89, Bobby Mantle, burning it down here for another checkered flag for the 2024 season. He's setting himself up really nicely for the remainder of the first round of the playoffs here. 2 of 5 races in the books. And here's your unofficial results for tonight's Rock, Paper, Scissors 200. Bobby Mantle, P1, JJ McCoy 2nd, Brody Marinko, that is your top 3. Avram Ghost in 4th, Justin LeBlanc in 5th, John Howard 6th, Clayton White ends up in 7th. 8th place, Mark Sherwood, 9th, Stephen 9th, 10, Ronald Holmes, 11th place, Ron Harrington, 12th, Bradley Miner, 13th, Danny White, and Chad McGinley, Joshua Slade, EJ Luna. Finish out the 16 truck lineup here. We're going full screen for a commercial break. We'll be right back with our top 3. And here we are for the post race here, presented by Martin Sports. We're going to talk to tonight's top three. First person on the boards for us, number 54, Brody Marinko. Brody, congratulations on P3, man.
I appreciate it. I didn't mean to wreck Clayton at the end, but I mean, it looked like netcode. I didn't even touch him, so I don't know. But we had a good race. I mean, we led a lot of the race, and I don't know, we just couldn't really figure out the truck. It's been a struggle all week, but I can't thank 101 Motorsports enough for giving me the opportunity they gave me to run in this league. And yeah, it was a good race though.
Yeah, you were one of the trucks that were more up and down the track, trying to find the grip, the speed. It looks like you stuck the bottom quite nicely in the first 20-some laps or so, and then you shifted up to the top, and you're running up against the wall. So, were you just kind of searching the whole time, or was that like your final set plan before the race started?
I mean, it's been a plan, I guess you could say, for like the whole week, that once the truck stops driving the way I want it to drive, get it up in the top. And I don't know, everyone says that the top burns tires, and I agree it does, but for some reason, the setups that I've been running all week, it's gripped up on the top. So I'll run the bottom just to, obviously, like when the tires are good, but once the truck starts to kind of wear down and the tires start to get bad, I'll just jump up to the top.
There you go. And I have to ask, I knew you led off with the Clayton White incident toward the end, but that was your third moment of contact in this race alone. It is kind of a short track, so things do happen, but just kind of walk us through each of those moments there. And it sucks to see, but when you have three contacts in the same race, I got to at least bring it to light just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the first couple ones were racing deals. I don't remember them. It didn't matter that much to me. It didn't really cross my mind. And I guess that is because I didn't reckon it was him. But the third and final one that I guess actually made him wreck was all netcode. I mean, we were all loose at that point in the race. I had gotten loose. He had gotten loose. But even though we were loose, we never touched. So I mean, I guess that's something you deal with when you're on the simulator like that. But I mean, it sucks to ruin someone's race based on something that I didn't even do. So
Yeah, there was like a whole foot of air pocket there that kind of shifted the 14 down there on the final backstretch moment there. But congratulations, P3, nonetheless, man. One of the few non-playoff drivers in tonight's race, and you got there on the podium. So I know I already thanked your team, but is there anybody else you'd like to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting together a broadcast every week, and these broadcasts are great. So thank you guys.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that. We'll catch you next week here, and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Dustin, I shouldn't say good rest of your week. It is Sunday night. It's the start of the week. I need to change my tone on that.
Hey, I work for the government, my guy, so this is the start of the week. Sundays is the start of the week.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. I'll take that waiver.
Just saying.
We'll take it.
Sunday through Saturday.
All right. Well, we're gonna see what the rest of the week looks like for the second place driver, Mr. JJ McCoy. Congratulations on P2.
Thanks, guys. How are you doing?
Hey, we're doing good up here. Light field tonight, but definitely had some moments in this race that kind of kept it exciting. And your teammate, Chad McGinley, got wrecked out early, kind of led the opportunity for you and Bobby to kind of shine a little bit. How did you find P2? I expected you to maybe in the top 5 for sure, but I didn't expect P2, so how did you wind up here?
I just was trying to take care of my tires all night. It was easy to be fast here for a few laps. It's hard to be fast the entire time. Obviously, my teammates were a little bit better at it than I was, but did it well enough to come home in second and get another podium for Grim Reaper. And after not finishing so well last week, it was good to get a good playoff finish.
Yeah, absolutely there. And then the long run aspect, you guys definitely planned out the long run on this setup. How long did it take to get things dialed up to make a really strong run from like lap 40 to pit stop?
It was probably the first 15-20 laps. You're just doing the work, getting it to where you want it, and then once you hit 35 to 40, it really comes on, and then 40 all the way until you're out of gas. It's faster and faster than anybody else. So we worked hard at it all week and had some help from Team Conti and made some adjustments and did some things that worked for us. So I'm glad it worked out.
It sure did, man. Well, congratulations on P2. It's good for the playoff run there. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Oh, I'm hoping I got a little leftover luck in me for Bristol next week. So
You're gonna need just a little bit, right? Just a skosh is what Dustin's saying over there.
Just
But
a
yeah,
skosh.
well, yeah. Good luck to you regardless from our side, and maybe we'll talk to you next week. But have a good rest of your night.
thank you guys. You too.
Thank you. That was JJ McCoy, the driver, the number 22 for Grim Reaper. And now it's time to bring in the guy, I think, who led the second most laps here tonight. Bobby Mantle, 89. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man, that truck was fast on the long run there. It's kind of
Yes,
walk us through your night when the opportunity opened to lead the race, you and the 54. Excellent racing on the short runs for sure, but you had the special formula to pull away at the end.
Yeah, well, I could tell that a couple of guys, definitely had quicker trucks on the short run. I was feeling them out for a little bit and fought them and just let them go. And sure enough, about 20 laps later, I would just start running them back in. So early on in the race, I knew just let these guys go by. Don't fight them. Don't waste my tires any more than I need to because I'll reel them right back in. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
Sure did, and you and the 54 loved making contact when you got side by side. There was some good, fun battles between you two. But just almost every single time there was a pass effort, there was almost a guaranteed contact. So and you guys just had that much confidence in one another, huh?
Yeah, no, I know Brody's a good driver. I know he can take it, and I'm out here to win, so I'm not giving him an extra inch.
That's the words we're looking for. I love it. Good mentality there, man. Well, congratulations on yet another win this season. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
I got to thank Team Conti for this rocket ship of a setup. They did an excellent job this week. I also owe Chad a huge shout out. I was struggling a little early on this week. He took some time out of his busy Road to Pro schedule, gave me a couple pointers, and I was locked in from there on. So I kind of owe this win to Chad. Thank you, buddy. Same thing to the other guys on Grim Reaper. Like, we all came together, put in a lot of work this week. Love the guys. And big shout out to you guys putting on a wicked broadcast. I'm really excited to watch this one.
Well, it's a fun one. It's a light field, but it was a fun one for sure, man. So I appreciate you and all your thoughts there. We'll see you next week at Bristol.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was Bobby Mantle, winner of tonight's Rock, Paper, Scissors 200. And Dustin, only 16 drivers, but still put on a decent show for us.
They did. You know, like you said, light field, but man, the racing action was still there. You know, we seen about a little bit of everything, Jeremy. I'm gonna say we'll call it a truck flipping because I mean McGinley sat here and completely ramped the 24 of EJ Luna. We seen underside of his truck, so we're gonna call that a flip. We seen a flip truck. We seen playoff implications in the points with stuff going on. We seen good hard battling. We seen 3 wide at Rockingham. Even for a brief moment, we still seen it, which is really tough at this track. So I mean, we had a good mix of about everything that we possibly could at this track. So I mean, even though we had 16 drivers, it was still a good, solid race tonight for these guys.
Yeah, 2 trucks airborne. Joshua Slade also same deal, just not as much as Chad McGinley. But what a crazy race there for Rockingham and Bristol. Tune in, you know that's gonna be a hell of a time regardless, no matter who's racing it.
You want to talk about short track tempers? Next week.
Yeah, to the second degree, we're going to experience that. So you guys stay tuned. Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Or sorry, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. You're going to catch all the action from the global guys at Bristol. But we're also broadcasting Tuesday for the RSR Next Generation Cup Series. So join in for that broadcast as well. But you guys have a good, safe rest of your evening. Get your nerd on. And we're going to thank Scott Martin for taking it from here.
This presentation is brought to you in part by
Martin Sports. Get the apparel, look stylish, be badass with apparel from Martin Sports. martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag. Must-have flag marshaling system for any aspiring sim racer. Get yours today at iracingiflag.com. Boomer button boxes. Total sim control at your fingertips. boomerbuttonboxes.com. If you race hard, then you need to rock hard.
And no station gets you harder than
iRock935.com. If you're a collector and that's your game, then Dusty Pete's, that's the name. DustyPete's.com. TWRS. Got the rig. Got.
Back when nothing truly